Hi everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Light Conversations. I'm Tucci Koçoğlu-Hobden, founder of Coaching with Heart and Purpose and host of Light Conversations. My fabulous guests today are Lemia Astarabadi and Joshua Boza, founders of RaMA Holistic Care, Sacred Sense Aromatherapy, The Conscious Groove, and Love Takes Flight Festival. Lemia is a yoga instructor and trainer, singer-songwriter and percussionist, massage therapist, harmonium healing practitioner, master aromatherapist, birth doula, and has a master's degree in education. Josh is also a yoga instructor and trainer, guitar player, singer-songwriter, massage therapist, harmonium healing practitioner, master aromatherapist, and outdoor science educator and plant-based cook. Before we dive into the interview, I wanted to share their beautiful mission, which I found on their website. It's absolutely beautiful, and I think it's really important that we share this here. So RaMA Holistic Care exists to support the state of balance within all life through yoga therapies, harmonium biometaphysical healing, therapy, medicinal aromatherapy, massage therapy, nutrition, sound healing, meditation, knowledge of the self and the laws of nature through ancient mysticism and laughter. As we embrace the aspect of ourselves that we are challenged by the most, we are able to move from our own darkness into the light. In harmony with the feminine and masculine energies within, we embrace the RaMA, the perfect harmony between our own personal yang and yin, Ra, the solar, divine masculine energy, combined with the Ma, the lunar, divine feminine energy to create harmony, healing, and happiness and miracles. Our mission is to serve the highest good of all living beings with all the tools of wisdom that we've been blessed to have learned. In service to one another, we all have gifts to share and an important role to play in the harmonious co-creation of this reality. We are grateful to serve and to continue to grow and learn together on this amazing journey we call life. Welcome to today's Light Conversation, Lemia and Josh. It's such an honor to have you here today.
Thank you for having us. It's an honor to be here with you.
Thank you. That was beautifully well read. Thank you.
Your accent sounds better.
Much better than we've ever read it to ourselves before.
It's just so beautiful. Honestly, I feel like this interview, the timing of this interview is like divine timing. We've just had this autumn equinox yesterday. Day before that was the full moon in Pisces. We're in the mansion of Libra, which is about, it's all about harmony and balance right at the moment. And I kind of feel that sometimes, the outside world is a little bit in disharmony, a little bit out of alignment, but who better to speak to today than Lemia and Josh, who are, I feel like, the bringers of harmony here to us today. So thank you. When researching about you both, your work, just gave me goosebumps, right? I was reading your website. I actually cried, no joke, just because it was just so, honestly, my heart track was just like wide open when I was reading your work and watching your videos, because you're so open and so full of love and so connected to to this oneness. And I really had that essence of that, coming through technology, which is quite unusual, I feel sometimes. So I wanted to ask you, you've got these modalities, so many modalities, technologies, and high frequencies that you use. How were you drawn to it, or to the work that you do? Yeah, I see Josh pointed to Lemia. Maybe Lemia, you could start.
How much time do we have?
I think I see this in the work that we do with other people, and it's a reflection of our beginnings. Is that we usually find these kind of teachings in this path when we are going through trauma, when we have crisis, when we're at a low point in our life and we have nowhere to go but up. And we pray and we ask for guidance, and then boom, it shows up, and we either answer the call, we say yes, and we embrace it and bring it in, or we say no, I'm just going to keep living my life the way I'm living it, and I'm fine, everything's perfect, and we keep going. So we answered the call. We hit rock bottom, I guess, at different points in life, and that opened us up. Actually, each time we've hit kind of rock bottom, we've opened ourselves up to a new, something new has always come in to help us to create another modality to say, oh, when this happens, you know, you can use this. When this happens, you can use this. So I think it's us saying to the universe, we want to be of the light. We want to be here to support our own growth and our own healing, and then help other people. So when you ask the universe, when you actually from your heart speak to the universe always answers. And I think sometimes we forget to ask, or we forget to invoke all these unseen beings that are here to support us, and sometimes we don't know how. And so it was in the asking that we learned how. And it was definitely at those points where you're just begging for a solution, you know, you're just like, help, you know, and the universe answered. And so that's why we're doing the work we do. When we can empower other people to do that same thing, and it's not us, it's not coming to us to do the healing. We don't believe in the idea of healers. Like, each of us is a healer. We each have all of the potential in our own hearts. And I think another thing that we've seen is, and it's kind of veered us in different directions, is, you know, you get into a teaching or you get into a spiritual community or just philosophy or whatever, and sometimes that philosophy says this is it, this is the end all be all, and sometimes the people in that philosophy are just, you know, they're focused on that one thing. And I think that's the beauty in He and I, is that we understand that even life itself is not permanent, right? We're here for such a short little window of time. So all these things that we're here to learn and experience and receive, we can do them for short periods of time and receive little nuggets of wisdom, and then we can move on, and we don't have to be kind of, you know, attached. And I think it's the attachments and the expectations that cause us even more pain. So along the journey of healing yourself, you can also get caught in being attached to what it is that you're doing, and you know, maybe call yourself a healer or take on that power and then put other people down from that power. So I think it's not just learning and receiving, you know, tools and helping other people, but it's also keeping yourself in check and knowing that we are all one. Nobody has more power than anybody else. And just because you learn something before someone else doesn't mean that, you know, you're the all-knowing and you're you know, the master. And I think it's us. We love being in the flow, and we love learning from everybody, and we love seeing everybody as God, as creator. And even using that word God in the teachings that we've really, you know, brought into our hearts. God is love, wisdom, and truth. It's not a spiritual being. It's not an energy or an entity or a person. It's in everything, and it's embodying love, being a loving person, even when you're going through your hardest time. Embodying wisdom and leaning on wisdom versus a person or a situation, and then truth. You know, the big thing for us also is like living your truth, and if it's not in alignment with your truth, no matter how much you want to do it or you want it in your life, you need to keep moving on. You know, it's not in alignment with your truth. So a big part of it is not being attached, not having expectations for other people or yourself, but being kind of in that flow, in the Ra and the Ma, and just in that dance of that middle path.
I love that. Yes,
I don't know
that
if I
dance.
answered the question or not, but
I love it. No, you definitely did. I think it was even more beautiful as a response, because you know, it's this evolution, isn't it? We're constantly growing and evolving and transforming, and it's, you know, you know, you mentioning that you have all these different modalities, but you know, there's so many to explore, and you know, one stage you might start with one, and then there'll be another one, and you're right, there's so many people who just stick with one, and I tend to I'd keep adding more to mine as well, because I'm like, oh, but this is really interesting, and this is really appealing to me, or I'm being drawn to it now. And how about you, Josh? How have you seen it for yourself, or with the work that you do together?
Yeah, it's definitely been an evolution, and that's you know, from the science backgrounds of life, you know, evolution, evolving, and we kind of have this creation evolution idea theory of life, is that it was created and there's evolution from it. We can't just stay the same, you know, organisms that we were when we were first born. If we did, it would be a really interestingly looking world if we just stayed the same, right? So we really embrace the idea of change and honoring yourself as you're changing and being aware of yourself as you're changing. I know for me and my personal journey, I was in education for a while, and I got out of that because of bureaucracy and things in my mind that I thought weren't right. It's just an illusion. And then I got into bartending. Oh, this is going to be great. Completely different. Made a lot of money and was completely unhealthy. Right. So it was like this extremes. And then while I was in a bartending situation, I got a level of at 25. I got a level of shingles. So a very stress induced autoimmune situation. So sometimes people have to get smacked really hard. Like in my case, it wasn't as hard as I guess I could have gotten hit, but Creator Source was like, let's change. And luckily enough, I was able to hear that, feel that, embody that, and I was actually married to somebody else at the time. So I told my ex-wife, I said, I need to go to massage school. It just was a feeling. So that was the journey for me to get into that. My low was into bartending in that world, and then it was like, you need to get out. You need to do something different, right? And so what I'm trying to get at is there's no wrong way to get to wherever you're going. It's just embrace everything that you're doing and feel into it. And if it feels good and you're helping people and hopefully helping yourself a little bit at the same time, then keep on doing with it, progressing, evolving with it. If it's something like in my case where it was like you hit a brick wall and you need to change, then you got to jump over that wall. You got to get through that wall. You got to do something. So we all have to take that personal accountability, excuse me, uh, and our ability to embrace change is key, right? We have to be able to embrace change because so many people get stuck in their little bubble. Excuse me, my little frog in my throat. They get stuck in their bubble, and like Lemia was saying, this is the one way. This is it. This is all. I was raised in a Lutheran, background, so I had that, and in all these things, and then it was exposed to Judaism and exposed to all these different aspects, and you realize that wait a minute, everybody has a little bit of help that they're trying to offer. Every system, every religion, everything, Western medicine, Eastern medicine, the goal is to help people, and we get again lost in uh, that that desire to help because we feel like this is the only way and this is the only thing. We have to be able to embrace and holistically look at the whole person, environment, everything has to be taken into consideration when we make our decisions. So again, no no regrets for being a bartender or doing whatever you did. It's that step to help people move forward. So I was able to experience that, and now I'm able to connect with people in different ways based on my level of experiences. And Lemia had different experiences, so she's able to help people on those levels. And then we come together, and you help people on your level because your experiences, and we all have our different ways to help and share our gifts. So yeah, it's an evolution. It's just a complete evolution. Yeah.
Yeah, and it sounds like and a desire to serve, be of service, right? That desire to, support humanity and others, other beings. And it's interesting that Josh, you mentioned having getting shingles at 25, so you had a pretty hard knock at the, knock at your door, the saying by divine by source saying, right, this is you're in a state of disease here, right? So
Yeah.
and you listen to it.
Yeah, and just to add, I don't normally share this in this type of an interview, but right before that, my ex-wife and I, we had a child that was born premature at around 6 months, and then she lived for about 12 days, and we made the decision to with the advice of the doctors and all that kind of stuff, to end the support of life. So that thing coupled with then getting into shingles right after that, as you can see why that kind of triggered, and then I wasn't able to process the unhealthy emotions that I had from that relationship that were kind of building, and I was like, no, I'm just going to have a kid and I'm just going to live literally like my thought was, okay, well, we're pregnant now. I'm going to stay with her for the rest of my life because she's pregnant and we're going to have a kid. And like that old mentality of, breaking through it because I had come from a family of divorce and I'm like, no, I'm going to stay together. I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to make it work. I'm going to do everything I can. And it was like, you can't hide from yourself. You can't hide from your emotions. You can't hide, like these voices, these feelings are all around us. And if are we able to perceive them and, you know, um, filter them into our emotions and then express to those around us that we need help. We need a change. We need to do something different, right?
Yeah, right.
So
Thank you for sharing that with us. That your experience and your that little soul who we lost you were lost so early on. And Lemia, you mentioned as well going through we go through your experience rock bottom sometimes, and Yep, I know, and I think we've already all been in that situation. And was that similar situation for you before finding your path into this sort of this on this journey?
Yeah, I had a kind of molestation situation as a younger person, and then actually right around the time of going to massage school, which is where we met, I was dating somebody that, and actually that's the cool thing about spirit is how timing happens. We found this out probably maybe a year after all of this happened, but during the time that he was going through that whole thing and deciding he was leaving his wife, that very night that he left his wife was the night that my partner decided to try to beat me up and actually try to choke me to death and went to jail for that.
Wow.
So he was acting weird, and anyway, I started running away. He tripped me and started choking me. And just to tell the viewers, this is a very spiritual, this is a very powerful spiritual experience that I had. Was that kind of time stopped in that moment because I couldn't breathe and I couldn't yell out for help. And I had heard a story the week before that there was a woman who was being dragged into the back of a van to be killed, and she called out for Archangel Michael 3 times. And all of a sudden, someone appeared, pulled her out of the van, saved her life, and So in that time of me being choked and not breathing, that thing came into my mind, my consciousness, and I couldn't say it, and I couldn't even remember his name, but the intention in my heart was, I need to call out for that Archangel Michael to help me. And in my mind, I said his name 3 times. All of a sudden, there was this white-haired older man on his cell phone, and he said, "Get off of her now, the cops are on their way." And that's when I was able to take a breath. And I never saw the guy, like he disappeared. The cops came, took the guy, my boyfriend at the time, away. And then I made the choice, which is not easy to do, because we were talking about marriage and that kind of thing, months before. We had actually gone to a spot and looked at a place we wanted to get married. I made the choice to never speak to him again, because I knew all the stories of women that had been abused, and that same thing of like, oh, he's apologizing and he'll never do it again, and then you're in that cycle of abuse. And if you see it once, in my eyes, that's someone telling you who they are, and you're either listening or you're not listening. So it was the hardest thing to do, but I made the choice, and I never spoke to him again after that night. I had the cops go and get my car from the house, and all the stuff that I needed, and and then we started becoming friends. And that's the whole thing, is like the door that you get out of your misery, your pain, is the door into your new life. And that's what we don't realize. It's like making that hard choice. He had to make the choice to let a life go. I had to make a choice to let maybe a life partner go. And making that choice was the best thing that we could have ever happened as far as being together and this whole journey that we're on. It would have never happened. So, for anyone that's watching, that's in a situation that they're terrified to leave, know that is like paradise is on the other side. Life is not perfect, but like it can be so much better than what you're going through now.
It's always better when you're listening to your heart and you're trusting your intuition. And I think that's the big thing that we like to do with our techniques and the essences and the meditations and the mantras, is to really hone that intuition, hone that listening skill of the inner voice, not just what's going on in our outside world, but that inner listening. Yeah, it's huge.
Wow. Thank you both. That's incredible. And yes, I think that bringing that intention into our daily lives as well, having those intentions and understand that power. And Josh, just like you said about the inner GPS, the inner wisdom, that inner voice. It's interesting. This morning when I was doing teaching a Kundalini yoga class, the theme today, the Kriya, was connecting with angels and ancestors and guides. So, and that was all about the teaching of, listening to your inner voice. And we're living in a time, aren't we, of just so many distractions, so much noise, and we forget to trust that inside, we forget to hone in on that voice, and also kind of get more into our feminine, being more in that state of being in that stillness. We're so busy in our masculine all the time. So yeah, tell me more about the work that you're doing with, you're talking about helping people to connect more with their inner wisdom through your work.
Yeah,
just going to say, you know, a big part of it is when you understand yourself and what makes up who you are, then you're empowered to understand the whole universe. When you understand yourself, then you know what God is, because God's inside of you. So different aspects of that. You want to?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and as we age and mature in life, we grow in life. We every 7 years they say we have a new cellular structure, and so there's on the scientific level, at that level, you know, we're wholly different cells, and then also mentally, energetically, emotionally, we go through these transitions. So as we go through these transitions in life, these changes, then our perception of ourself, knowing thyself changes, right? Like who you thought when you were 20, hopefully, is different than who you thought when you're in your 40s, right? So it's just about being honest with yourself, really. And the tools that we have, the meditations, the essences, you know, for me, being into the science world and you know, environmental studies, I really gravitate towards the essences first because they have a grounding quality. So you're rooted in, and then they're also this etheric quality. So
tell them about your grandfather.
yeah, and so one of my grandfathers on my dad's side, he was a chemist, a pharmacist, and he graduated in 1932 from USC Chaffee School of Pharmacy, which was like one of the first or second graduating classes. And so this was before World War II, before big industrial revolution in the middle of the century. And he had leach jars. He had beautiful bottles, like, you know, half a liter bottle of patchouli and Litsea cubeba and all these beautiful herbs. Wow. And he also had, you know, compounding herbs and those things. So it wasn't until the after World War II that he started getting prescriptions. So before that, he got prescriptions of like, I need 5 grams of, you know, white willow bark. I need 3 grams of this. And you know, he would compound his own pills. And then post World War II, he would start to make. He would get, you know, deliveries of pre-made pharmaceutical pills, and he just was a pill counter. So with that,
that's when it was over.
That's when it was over for him. And talking to my grandmother after he passed away, like she said, that was when he really lost his passion. Like it was like 1960. She's like, yeah, about 1960, he just lost his passion because it was just all prescription, just counting the pills. You know, there was less interaction with the medicines. So that connection to me resonates deeply, and I knew that he was a pharmacist, but I didn't know the depth of his wisdom and the techniques until we got into aromatherapy. So I like to use the aromatherapy because it is that grounding tool. They're connected. They grow into the earth, so they have that inherent grounding quality. Every plant does. Some are more like spacey and, you know, smell good and that kind of stuff, but all the plants are grounding, and they really help, for me, my experience, to just change our perspective. Just whatever you're doing at that time, if you're having a challenge, put a drop or 2 or 3 of essence on your hand, rub it in, smell, whatever you got to do. Really, for me, again, it helps change my perspective and gives me just a different outlook, because I put another teacher on my body, and I said, how would you look at it, basically, like in a nutshell? How would this plant look at this experience? And of course, it's all with love, and it's all with neutrality, and moving past the, you know, it's all perception, right? So if you think you're having a challenge, it's just your perception. So change your perception. It's a beautiful gift to have a situation, a challenge, or a bump in the road, right? So we just want to use these tools to help ground ourselves.
And that's a very physical tool.
Yeah.
So we have physical tools that, for us, we always call our aromatherapy the gateway drug to spirituality, because people are afraid to come to a yoga class. People are afraid to chant. They're afraid to learn ancient mystic teachings, you know, which is just the mathematics of the universe. But there's fear because of whatever they learned growing up. But they know what smell is. They know what plants are. They see them every day. And as long as they trust the source, you know, they're very open to receiving some plant medicine. And then they bring that in. And as soon as you put it on your hand, it goes into your heart. And besides grounding, the plants soften us. Nature softens us and makes us realize that we're part of a whole. It does something chemically to us. And then we're open to breathe. We're open to sit and like deal with ourselves. We're open to have that experience. I really feel, I was thinking about this earlier, like, what is the work that we do? And I mean, going back to, I'm a birth doula, but we also help a lot of people pass to the other side. We've been a part of a lot of deaths. It's just what Spirit has brought us to do. And I feel that it's not just life and death, it's being reborn into who you really are. Like, you have your birth at the beginning of life, and you're trying to figure it out, and everyone's telling you what you should do and who you should be and what you should look like, and you're just like, okay. And then when you get to that point where, again, you're asking those questions like, what's my purpose? Why am I here? How can I serve other people? How can I make the best out of this life experience? Those questions draw in people like now, us, because we ask to help those kind of people. But they'll bring in everything you need, and those tools are what we like to use to kind of birth you into who you are. So you birth into the world, and then you birth into your truth, into your purpose, to who you are. And some people, they never get that opportunity, because they don't go into that self-love. They don't go into that like honoring of their soul enough. And like we have that philosophy from ancient mystic teachings that when you die, nobody outside of you is judging you. There's no judgment day where the wrath of God comes down and says, you were a horrible human, go back. It's us looking at our own book of life. It's us reflecting, who was I as a person? Did I do what I came here to do? Was I kind? Was I loving? Did I serve humanity? Did I help the earth in any way? And as soon as you have that thought of like, no, I didn't live my purpose, then you come back to do what it is you came here to do and learn what it is you came here to learn. So for us, it's like we want to wake up in the dream. We want to wake up while we're here and say, who am I, to the core of who I am. And when you look at your birthday, it's like a blueprint of who you are. And that's something we do. We'll go through the numbers of your birthday, and we'll do these blueprint readings where people are like, that's exactly what I am and who I am, but nobody knows that. That's inside of me. Well, it's all written in this code that you chose before you got here, which is your birthday. And you start to embrace these aspects of who you are, and it's like, ooh, I feel powerful. This is what I came here to do. And then you're empowered to serve other people. Heal yourself, and then live your purpose. And I think that's where our passion is. It's like seeing those sparks of people waking up, realizing, I have the God in me. I have love, wisdom, and truth living inside of me. I have an expression that I want to help other people with, and no one else does it the way that I will do it, because that's my soul essence of why I'm here. There's no competition. There's no need to like look at anyone else and what they're doing. It's your gift, and to help people awaken to that gives us life force. Like that is why we're here. Help people birth into their truth.
Beautiful. Yeah, and I love that aspect of birthing, kind of having that rebirth throughout our lifetime. We're kind of constantly going through these cycles, aren't we? Yeah, I mean, even if I look at, like you mentioned, the 7 year thing, that's really interesting. I hadn't heard of that. I think every year, 7 years, our cells are also replenishing, did you say? So that's super interesting. And 7 is such an amazing number, right? So magical in so many ways. I was like, that's another 7 now. I can add to my list of what 7, if we talk about.
We could talk for an hour right now.
Yeah.
It's all about.
I've just got another one.
It's interesting too, because these numbers they span across cultures, right? We have a friend who's in the Rasta community, and he had his dreads really long, and we just talked to him the other day, and he's a hairstylist as well, so he's got like fancy color dread, like really cool looking stuff.
Awesome.
And we've known him for like 15 years, and he's had him on for like the whole time. And we're talking to him just on the phone. He was like, "Yeah, I cut my dreads off the other day." We're like,
"What?"
He was like, "Yeah, and he's like, with the the dread community, like they say every 7 years you got to cut it off, because the same thing.
You're a different person.
It's a new growth. So even within the communities where there's like attachment to hair or attachment to whatever, there's like, no, we have to let it go. We have to, release, because we have to." And he was like, "I've never felt so much free." He's in his early 70s. He's like, I feel so free and so much more in tune. It's like, but he was thinking that
inspiring.
That the hair was the connection to the intuition and all the physical stuff. It's just that. It's just this, what we look like, right? This is nothing that we are. It's just who we present as. So it's going in and releasing and cutting and letting go, so that we can build and grow, right?
Not being attached.
It's simple to say and sometimes hard to do, right? The old song says, but it really is so simple when we can, if we're ever attached to any one thing, when we let it go, it's amazing the blessings that come from it, right?
Freedom.
It really is.
And along that line, I think one of the biggest things of what we teach and we share is forgiveness, because that is the thing that helps you move forward. Otherwise, you're stuck. And you're either going to be stuck with pain inside your body because those things you don't forgive actually store inside of you, and then you've got pain or disease. Or they block you from something that you want to create. If we emotionally are stuck in the past, then the future gets jealous, or the present gets jealous. It's like, hey, what about me? And it tries to get your attention in a negative way. So we have to honor being in this present moment. We have to honor what's to come without being stuck in the past. And forgiveness is a huge, huge part of it. If we hadn't forgiven our past, I don't think we could have ever gotten married and moved forward. And we dated for 10 years before we got married.
9.
Just to be sure.
9 years.
And we're so happy you did. Oh, but yeah, forgiveness. I love that you mentioned forgiveness. Such an important piece, such an important part of, letting go of those energies, because it can be quite dense, can't it? Holding us without even realizing it, to be able to kind of move forward in that freedom. What practices do you have? So you're talking about the forgiveness, and just before that, in terms of letting go and releasing and being able to kind of rejuvenate yourself, kind of, we get so stuck in our head brains, right? We've got 3 neurological centers. We've got this one, which is kind of like the one that's evolved the fastest, I guess, in the last however long. And then, of course, the heart center, heart neurological center. And we've got our gut, which is obviously our first. But we want to be expanding this heart center, right? And kind of getting a bit, out of here, our duality and our polarity and our yes/no brain. What practices do you have, and would you maybe share with us and our listeners and viewers to help with that?
Yeah, so to be in the heart and out of the head, you have to pass through this channel. This is the big freeway. Move us back down. So we look at the elements, and to work on your brain is the air element. So you have to change your breath if you want to change your brain. There's so many breath techniques, and we've learned from many, many different teachers and styles. But there are some that we use every day and that we teach and that are very, very powerful. And yeah, a basic one is 3-part breath. Taking, again, those 3 centers and focusing on them, but inhaling for a count of 20.
Build up to that 20.
And think of love. Holding for a count of 20 and think of peace. And then exhaling for a count of 20 and think of light. And by slowing your brain down and thinking of these things, and actually being here in your third eye instead of cycling back and forth in your thoughts, you can start to still the mind enough to where you can listen to your heart. The other thing besides the breath, the element of water is connected to the physical plane, but it's also our energy and motion. It's our emotions. And we have emotions and we have feelings. And the feelings are like a direct response to our environment, to our elements, right? You get something cold and you feel cold. You smell food and you feel hungry. You see something beautiful and you feel your heart is warm and open. So the feelings are very flighty and they change all the time. But it's when you've kind of had a feeling for a very long time that it becomes your emotions, your energy and motion. It becomes like what drives you forward. And that is like the ocean, because we are all water. And water is the hand of God. So you think of like, you want to work with your water body, what affects water. And if you've ever heard of Dr. Emoto, he studied water molecules.
Yes.
And he knows like the power of suggestion, even in your mind, without even speaking it. You can shift that water body. And if we're mostly made of water and the planet's mostly made of water and we want to heal ourselves and the planet, then we need to work with the water element. And we need to work with the power of positive thought, which the breath will help us get there. And then the positive sound, what comes out of our mouth. There's a reason why Creator created us with 2 holes of everything except for our mouth in our head, right? This is like a divine instrument that we have here in our head. And our mouth says, this is really important. Like what comes out of your mouth is so crucial and so important. So whether it's just saying positive things, we have an amazing teacher, not a physical one because she died many, many years ago, but Florence Scovel-Shinn is somebody that we listen to all the time. And it's all about using your word to create your reality. So, speaking into life what it is you want and saying it all the time. And when you're about to say something you don't want, stopping yourself, using that mechanism that you have inside of you to not say everything that you think, right? But sound is also singing, and it's joyful singing, and sometimes it's connected to an actual code or a mantra, which is like a way to dial into different energies, opening different aspects of who we are, connecting and invoking archangels or beings that we can't see, opening cellular structures within us. We can do that with our word, and I think we've kind of, with this kind of age of technology, we've misused our words so much, putting people down and judging and creating a dualistic environment. If we're not bringing people together, we shouldn't use our words. Like if it's not something that's going to uplift and heal and bring people closer to God or each other or the planet, why are we saying those things? So aligning ourselves to like maybe a higher level of word, which is like a code or a frequency through a mantra, has been very, very powerful for us in shifting what we're thinking.
And then also with that idea of, we're speaking and using the power of the throat chakra, but also using the willpower to choose the good things to put into our mouth, to, the good foods, the good waters, those things, because again, moving down the physical level, those physical tools, the food that we eat, the water, whatever drinks we consume, again, from my bartending perspective, I have a great perspective of this, it changes you. There's a reason why they're called spirits, because something happens when you consume alcohol. You get another spirit within you, right? So if you ever drink, just bless.
We have prayers. We have chant mantras for our alcohol when we drink.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah,
to invoke the good spirits.
There's no judgment whatsoever. This is not that.
No, we're so non-judgmental.
Be what you got to do.
We're about the human experience.
Is beautiful. But really, it's just honoring yourself. So making those better decisions day by day. Hopefully, again, you're not doing the same things that we did when we were 20. Same thing with eating food. I ate a very not beneficial diet when I was in that age, right? Because you're just trying to get through life and learn about whatever you're learning about when you're 20. And then you grow and you're like, wait, this food does this to me. So on the physical level, what we consume into our mouth is important. And then what we see, what we hear is also important. So what you expose yourself to in the physical world is very, very important and very can be impactful into your life and your perspective of life, right? So how you change your space or honor your space is important. So honoring your physical area. So if you know that if you're going to a holiday party and you know that your aunt is someone that you get in an argument with every year, maybe not go to that party that year and say, just gracefully bow out and say, you know what, I'm going to skip this year. Because that's the only thing that's going to give that peace is space. So, if you know you're going to go into a situation where there's going to be a strong chance of a conflict, go into the thoughts and the emotions. Is it worth it? Is it worth it in the physical plane to get my emotions ramped up, to get my mind ramped up? Chances are no. So we have to be able to choose what we put into our body, what we see, what we hear, and if you can, and usually we can change our space. We can go to a different restaurant. We can go to a different party. We can not go to a party, right?
We also learned the magic of alchemy and how, you with that person and that argument that you have, when you change it inside of you, that energy changes as well. And there's a really powerful prayer, the prayer of love, peace, and light. And you say, we can do it at the end together, but you can do it for yourself and then for someone else. And we've actually had situations where a friend of mine from high school hadn't talked to his father since he was 3 years old. The father left the house and never spoke to him after that. And we're talking, in our late 30s at the time. And he's just like, you do all this magic. Give me the magic to get my dad to call me or to have that relationship reunion happen. I'm like, all right, I've got something for that. So gave him this prayer. Do a prayer of love, peace, and light for yourself, and then do it for your father every day, at least once a day. And try it for 40 days. Let's just start at that. I didn't realize it, but I was with Josh, and he was doing a massage, and I was waiting for him in the car, and I didn't realize it had been around that 40-day period, but I called my friend. And he's like, I called him, and he's like, I cannot believe you're calling me right now. I'm at lunch with my father. And I just, I started crying and had full chills, but again, when you're healing yourself and you're working on whatever it is that you have a conflict with, you're working on yourself first, and you're taking that time to honor and connect to your light. It removes all the situations that are darkness or confusion or whatever, stagnancy of energy. It removes that and allows the flow to be preserved and to come back. And whether it's in your energetic body, returning the flow, movement and breath and sound, or the act of forgiveness, or just working on yourself with a prayer each day, you can change all the relationships in your life. You can be that alchemist. And that's the beauty of the power of love. It is the ultimate transformer in everything that we experience. And it literally takes one thought. There's a beautiful, another teacher of ours, Drumvalo Melchizedek, and he's written lots of books and a lot on sacred geometry and just living from the heart. And his big thing is like the difference between ease and dis-ease is one thought, literally. And as soon as we can shift our mind, and again, using all these tools, whatever tool works for you, you can shift your mind, and you can shift everything in your life. Anything that you're dissatisfied about.
And this can be for people as far as the forgiveness, they can be living or not living, right? So it works wherever they are in their process, or wherever you are in their process of forgiveness. And also, you don't have to be conscious to have forgiveness, because if you've heard of Anita Morjani, she's Dying to Be Me, I believe is the name of her book.
She's one of our favorites.
Was
amazing, right? Yeah.
In a coma, right? Like in a coma, have these realizations, stage 4 lymphoma, and then boom, within a week or whatever, she's clear.
It's incredible, really is, isn't it? How she,
yeah, and so we have to believe that. We have to know the power that we have, not as an ego, like I have so much power, but I have inner strength and inner wisdom and inner knowing and inner perseverance to make the change that that only you know what you need to do for your life, right? You can come to counselors, you can talk, oh, you should do this, oh, you should do this, yes, those things are good, they're helpful, but you are the only one who knows what's going to help you. It's, do we have that willpower to take the next step?
Yes.
And so that's why we use the mantras, we use the meditations, we use the essential oils, we use massage, and all these different techniques to get the body in a place of neutrality, so that the mind, the heart can really do the work of forgiving and healing and moving forward.
And if you feel that you need support with that, Harmonium Healing is actually, it's a biometaphysical system of energy work. It's connected to this kind of Rose-Craw Kabbalah lineage that we come from. It's a laying on of hands. We kind of associate it with Reiki in that it's energy work, but it's nothing like Reiki at all. But if we had to associate it with somebody, we're Reiki people as well. And it's totally opposite from that, but it's working with your spine in a very subtle way. It's an hour treatment with your clothes on. But it does something to awaken the consciousness inside of you to start bringing things into your field that's going to support you on your journey.
And this is the Harmonium Healing.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
It's so metaphysical and spiritual and so etheric that it's hard to put it into words until you've experienced it, but it starts to awaken things inside of you that draw in what you need. So it's not that it heals you, but it wakes up something inside of you in your heart that helps you bring in what it is you can use to heal.
And it's through your spine, did you say? So it's not anything like the
massage table with your clothes on.
Yeah.
And we're working just with your spine with different techniques and prayers. And there's a tiny bit of touch, and at the end there's no touch. And then we kind of do some grounding at the end to bring you back, because you feel you're in this other space. You're awake the whole time, but you're not awake.
And is there any connection with the Kundalini rising at all? Is it the energy through the spine, through the Sushmana, or is there any?
It is definitely about, so we contain astral knots in our spine whenever we've had some kind of situation, whether it's in this lifetime or past lifetime, that has caused us to go into blame, shame, doubt, wrong or right, any kind of separation from ourselves, our soul, and our interconnectedness.
Sorry, 26 bones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
Go ahead. And okay,
I just want to, because it's an important little key. Yeah.
So within the spine, holds our karma that connects us to this lifetime and other lifetimes. And our spine has 26 major bones in it. So does our head, our hands, and our feet. And if you think about the pentagram, the star, the five-pointed star with the apex pointed up, it's kind of like us with our arms out to the sides and our legs open. It looks like us. This is like the Vitruvian Man, right?
Yes, I was just going to say the Vitruvian Man, Leonardo da Vinci. Yes.
Yeah, and it's been studied as this mystical symbol
Mm.
where each one of these points that touch the points of the star have 26 major bones in it, but so does the spine. So working with your mind, your head with the breath, opening, all these joint areas of the hands, the wrists, the feet, the ankles, helps to restore physical flow in the body. Also the spine. I did Kundalini for 10 years before I found other styles of yoga, but there's a lot of spinal flexes, moving those 26 bones, moving that karma, moving that energy. And actually within our neck, the cervical vertebrae is connected to our 7 karmic influences. And so there's a lot of what we call karma, which is just cause and effect. It's the effect of whatever that seed cause was in our life. And looking at the 7, just quickly going over them, we teach lots of things on this, but your past lives, the day that you're born on, we were talking about your blueprint is that number. Your mother's lineage, your father's lineage, like all the way back to the first person is living inside of you. You're working through that karma. What happened in the womb when your mom was pregnant? Where the environment was when you were born? Was it wealthy? Was it a third world country? Was it abusive? Was it very spiritual or not spiritual, atheist? And then everybody and everything that happened to you and spoke to you and your experiences with them between the ages of 0 and 11 basically mold who you are, and then the rest of your life you're healing those things. Or you're coming to reckoning, you're coming to peace with it, you're forgiving, and that is helping you develop kind of your truth and who you are and your mission and what you're here to do. I find that a lot of people, when they go into those areas of the body, they get that memory of like, oh yeah, I have a lineage of this that I'm here to help heal. I also am here to do this work. It's all inside of you. It's like you're the great archaeologist that you're uncovering and digging up what's going on in this deep history inside of you. If you think of it, we've had like millions of lifetimes, if you believe in that. So millions of experiences that we had good things and we had not so good things, and until we clear them, we have these little kind of astral energetic knots in our life, in our body, in our whole being. And we need to move through those, but we can only move through them when we've awakened them. Yeah. So the harmonium is working with that energy of your bones, which is the densest part of us. I mean, literally, like we've learned this from helping people with passing away, that to be cremated, you have to do it like 2 or 3 times to get the bones. So most people just do the first cremation and the place takes the bones, but if you want the bones, there's like several rounds of cremation. I mean, our bones hold our ancestry. It holds a lot of like, part of who we are.
When you talk about past lives and having millions of past lives, we also talk about that within our own DNA, right? We've got 32,766 ancestors within that, so it's 14. I think science can only go back to 14 generations, which is that many. So who knows really what the actual number is. So that's incredible. That's so fascinating. And oh my god, goodness, I could probably chat to you guys for hours. We'll have to you'll have to come back again, I'm afraid. But I think that's so fascinating, that harmonium healing stuff. That's thank you for sharing that. And I just wanted to go back just really quickly and ask you, when we were talking about the aromatherapy, it's almost like the kind of the gateway, the little here, aromatherapy people. Most people kind of get it and go, oh, okay, I'll dip my toe into it now. But in terms of plants and plant medicine, is there anything around using plants specific to your lineage, your ancestry, the land that you're on, or is it okay to use plants from other areas that aren't in your?
Yeah, that's a great question. I have two different ways that I've looked at this. I used to be, when I was outdoor science teacher in Southern California, I was native species and only native species, and no one else but native species can live. And I didn't like other plants, eucalyptus and all these different things. Like, oh, I don't like them because they take. I changed perspective because I realized that everything is on purpose, right? And so the eucalyptus energy chose a human to bring it from Australia to California to sell to, pardon the word, but dumb farmers who thought they were going to get a lot of good wood. But they didn't happen. So anyway, everything happens for a reason. We honor the plants and the trees because they do help, and so we can take a little bit of that energy and assimilate it into our being. So it is a gateway drug. We work with essences. Our company is Sacred Sense Aromatherapy. We work with, I think, 40 or 50 countries around the world that we get essences from. So from my perspective, we want to be whole. We want to be complete, and we're a living organism on this planet. So the boundaries are just political or imaginary otherwise. So I'm an Earth citizen, so I want to use all the medicines of the Earth that I can get that's good quality. So I like to use plants from Morocco or plants from Turkey or plants from Australia, everywhere around the world, because each soil has its own gifts, and each peoples that take care of those plants have their own energy and their own gifts. So we like to work with as close as we can with the farmers or with trusted suppliers where we know that the plants are being honored as much as they can along the way. So
also, I want to just tap in here that it's kind of like people from different countries and different nationalities and different colors of skin and all this. Right. We have to remember where we came from in order to know where we are now and where we're going. We came from a planet that all the continents were together as Pangea. Literally every plant comes from the motherland, from that central part which is Africa. All beings come from there. We're all from that ancient Egyptian lineage. We're all from that area. And then over time, everything separated. And you could look at it spiritually as like kind of like that Tower of Babel of like, we're going to have more power than God, and then a lightning bolt strikes down, and then everything is separated. It's just like when ego says, no, I only am from this area, or I only, this nationality, or this color of skin, or it's forgetting that we all came from one space, that everything came from that one place. All plants came from that one place, So it doesn't matter where they are now on the earth. It originated together, and we found that there are certain plants that actually their gift is to help us kind of open our soul or spiritual energy to other spirits when we travel. Like one of our top ones is Laleshwa, which is African wild sage, and her gift is literally like any time we travel, we put her on, and she it's kind of like taking a tour guide with you, and they're talking to the person of the land for you and saying, hey, this person's cool. Let's let him in. Let's not give him a hard time. Like when we travel, we feel Laleshwa is that person or that being that speaks to the energies of wherever we go. So it's working with the strengths of the plant, not necessarily where they're from. Understanding we all came from oneness, and now we're in our places for a reason, so we can gain the energy and the wisdom to help when those people need that energy and that wisdom. So each space, like he's saying, each land has an energy, the soil has an energy, the farmer has an energy, the distiller has an energy, like all of us.
The water that's used has an energy, so every country has different water.
And then when they get to us, we have the healing mantra RaMA playing 24 hours a day for our plants. So they are a liquid, they were steam distilled. So that water energy of that vibration is in mantra until we send it out to you.
Oh, lovely.
So we really believe that they're like our allies. They're like our best friends, and they're here to strengthen us and help empower us to whatever aspect is weak. If they have that strength, they come in and say, no, you've got this too, because we all came from that oneness. We all came from that single one light. Sorry, you had
No, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Sure.
It was good. I feel complete. You feel good with that?
Beautiful. No, beautiful. I love that both of you had beautiful explanations for that. So thank you. That's really, amazing. Really helpful to know as well. I think going back to that whole unity thing. Yes, we were all one. We all came from the one continent until it's separated, and again, going back to the head brain, where so people are quite in that separate competitive still state,
Another
right?
really interesting thing I want to bring up before this is over is that we've had a brain, like we've taught many trainings, and we had a brain specialist in one of our aromatherapy courses, and
Oh, wow.
she taught us something that stuck with me, since she said it, and I see it in all people, is that we're kind of like the continent, like our brain when we're and it could be in the womb as well, because we know the karma starts there, but our brain is actually not two hemispheres when it's being developed, and actually we can be born with it not being two hemispheres until we have our first trauma. The first trauma puts a wall up between the two sides of the brain, and then we're trying to bring those two together for the rest of our life.
And trauma can happen in utero, right? Like you could have an awful experience, and could happen at birth. It could happen.
A lot of traumas happen at birth.
I was going to say the birth trauma itself, right?
Trying to breastfeed can be a trauma for some people. Trying to, all these different things that there's so much pressure to be a perfect human. You have to do it right. You have to, we have to let go, right? So the traumas come in, and the central protection, it's like a calcium deposit. She was explaining it. It just separates the two hemispheres so that we can have that discernment, so we can say yes or no, as opposed to, I guess, with oneness consciousness, because I've had trauma, we're like, yes, everything is good, but if you do that to a Mack truck and it's driving on the freeway, it's going to hit you. So we have to have that, discernment. There is a survival aspect of keeping them separate but equal, if you will. So, and then on top of that, with that separation, once that barrier forms, they say that women, well, I should start with this. Men have about 7 connections to go from either side to side. Women have about 13 to 26, depending on where they are. So with women, there's more connectivity and more, and literally you see that women have a general overall perspective, less aggression, less, like there's just a more creative, in general. Men are like, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. I know for myself, I was very much like that in a previous life in this
lifetime. And that's
lifetime.
why the ancestors say that we're not going to have peace on earth until all the grandmothers are in control of the planet, because the woman energy has that ability to see the two and to bring them together a little bit more so than the man energy. So and we're praying for our grandmas.
Of course, there are some men that have great intuition and great connection and heartfelt, and then there's some women that are not so kind. So that's it.
Right. Where are you? In your head or in your heart? A woman in her heart, it's
32 times more powerful.
That's what's said. But women in their head will speak 32 times more than
32 times more dangerous.
So we have to know. We have to know that it's important, especially as women, that we live in our heart, that we live with love.
Absolutely. And I think going back to what you were saying about head, air, coming back to our breath, the heart, we were saying about, bringing the mantras in, and then the gut, the nourishment, what we're nourishing ourselves with, whether it's good words as well, whether it's good food, and how we connect with nourish ourselves with the people around us as well. So really beautiful. My goodness. I really wanted to quickly talk through, if we could, about the Divine Flow Expo, because I know Michelle, who is, or Michelle Ambigui, is the host of the Divine Flow Expo 2.0, A New Earth. That's what it's called, isn't it? And Lemia and Josh are speakers. I'm a speaker there. And I just want to very quickly ask, what's the title of your event, or your video, and what it's about? Very quickly, if you could just share with us.
We're going to be talking about living in your heart and living in oneness, and just giving a little bit of an experience of breath and of sound, and sharing a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of the laws of nature, in order for us to kind of, it's important that we feel it, but we also can conceptualize it, that we can bring our mind and our heart together. So our experiences, we like to give you some headiness of understanding, but also give you the experience. So just being in that space of oneness, that's the goal. That's the divine flow.
Yay. Beautiful. And the
Great.
Divine Flow Expert, you can find the Facebook page is the Divine Flow Expo fans page on Facebook. So Divine Flow Expo fans. So if anyone's got, I'll add it onto this video as well in the post I put through. So that's on the 26th and 27th of November, right? Got it right, I think. So yes, that's going to be really fun. The first one was awesome, was really good fun back in April, and can't believe we're heading towards November. Soon. It's crazy. We're already in autumn, beautiful, my favorite season. I think it's a lot of people's favorite as well, from what I gather. So oh my goodness, thank you so much. You've both given so much wisdom today, shared so much of your beautiful wisdom. And I think, yeah, I think if there's anyone, interested in what Lemmy and Josh have been talking about today, their website, I'll include all your details. Actually, why don't I ask you, where can people find you on social media
RaMA
or?
Yeah.
RaMA Holistic Care. So that's where you'll find Sacred Sense Aromatherapy on RaMA Holistic Care, but you could also go to Sacred Sense Aromatherapy and find RaMA Holistic Care there. So
it's all linked together.
The two are linked together. Or The Conscious Groove, if you like the music. We are on Spotify, and we have 5 albums. We have a 6th album coming out at the end of this year, and a 7th on the way already, working on that.
Amazing.
It's just, for us, music is part of the divine flow, and as we all know, it invokes those positive emotions, and we want our water body to move in a way that is productive for us. Sometimes just putting on your favorite song and dancing around your house can shift your mind and shift your body and get you in gear and excited about being alive. So
Definitely. Actually, can you tell us a bit more
we hope that
about,
our
if
music
you've got
will help
time,
with
tell us a
that.
bit more about the Conscious Groove, and also Love Takes Flight festivals. I know you run the charity event. If you've got time, let's, tell us through it, because music is such a big part of what you do as well.
That's actually how we started. It's funny because I write a lot of poetry, and I had a bunch of poems. If you're in our newsletter, we've had a newsletter for 11 years now. There's a poem each week, and it's a weekly thing offering. So you can go to our website and sign up for that if you'd like. But I had a bunch of poetry, and he had been playing guitar for years and years and years, and had a bunch of rhythms. And we actually went to an angel seminar, and we met this woman,
Doreen Virtue.
and we met
Amazing.
a woman who was sitting behind us, and she's like, I need a guitar piece, and we ended up working together for the seminar, and so she hired him, and after he was done playing that piece for her song, she's like, all right, let's play one of your guys' songs, and we had never played anything together, but I had my poetry book, and he had some rhythms, and
we
kind of had something that we just showed to her, and she was a professional singer, and I said, all right, here's the lyrics, and she's like, I don't sing other people's songs, this is your song. And that was really me. I was one of those people that always sang in the shower, I sang in the car, I sing everywhere, but I had a cousin once tell me, if you didn't write that song, you shouldn't be singing it, and your voice, you should never sing. And so I had that, internal, and I think a lot of people have that. Yeah. That internal trauma of don't be a singer. But this woman was like, oh no, you have a voice. If you can speak to me, you have a voice. You're going to sing this. So she coached me to just sing this song, and that was our first song, and it was called Forgiven, actually. It was about forgiveness. And so from there, we just kept playing and playing. We started playing at a restaurant back in the day, and would play mantras and spiritual music at this restaurant. People really liked it. And then we met people that could help us record. And then we brought it into our yoga. So when we teach yoga, we teach live music yoga. So Josh will play music, I'll be teaching, and then for meditation, I'll bring the drum in and play a little bit. But for about, 11 years, 10 years, we had a full-blown band, and every Tuesday in LA, we played with our band this live music yoga class. And we enjoyed that so much, and all these musicians and people, and then we were like, we need to bring all their talents and bring everybody together, and that's when we had our first Love Takes Flight festival in Irvine, I don't know how many years ago, and we did about 3 in a row, and then we moved, and there's things were happening, so we took a year off, and we did another one in LA, and then COVID hit. So we've been off since COVID. But eventually we'll start that up again. But we usually give to a charity. It's all for charity. And of course we pay our people, and then we give to charity. But it's just a time where people can come together. We bring in every kind of style of yoga, all these different types of teachings. We really believe in, it doesn't matter what we've been trained in and what we believe to be true. If we're not open to listening to other people's truths, we're never going to grow past that, kind of coming back to the beginning of our conversation.
Yeah.
So to hold a festival and have people from all different mindsets and different belief systems come together and share, it's one of the biggest joys that we ever have. It's so much hard work, but it's so worth it in the end. Don't get him started. He's like,
No.
But it's a lot of work.
I've met shingles since the first time.
Because it's not like a high-paying thing, but the reward is the unity and the love that comes out of that. And just people feeling honored to share. And then having everyone come together, you realize that it doesn't matter that all these things are different. Everyone's message is the same. It's all love. It's all about love. So we want to make love fly. We want to give love wings.
Love it. Honestly, that's just gave me angel bumps as you talk about it. It
Well,
just
you're
sounds
gonna have
like
to be at the next one for sure.
yeah. Oh, it sounds amazing. Honestly, the work you do is just, it's beautiful. And the fact that, it goes to charity, you pay your, the people who are playing, but the fact that it goes to charity as well. And is that the Reachability charity? Is that, or is that your?
Different ones every year. We had one year we did, it was a music program where people who didn't have the means to learn music, like it helped give the teachers to go to those places and instruments to be donated for lower income areas that with a lot of talent that people just need the resources. We did an autism one. That was the last one. That was the Reachability Foundation, where they take autistic kids and they have real life experiences. They take them out to places, and it's a big deal, because they're so sensitive. But it's acclimating, and it's also helping the public to have those experiences. So we're not afraid of people with special needs. It's bridging that gap. We did one on the heart one year. It was like a heart group that because we're in the age of love, we're in the age of the heart. Anything that's going to empower us to build and strengthen our heart. So we look at kind of the theme of the time, and what people are struggling with, or what we're kind of needing to move past, and then and Orangewood.
Orangewood is a homeless children foundation in Orange County that helps runaway teens and things like that get back on their feet and get a shelter. So it's just really, like Lemia said, it's in that flow and that time and
what's needed.
What we're called to listening and feeling.
Who enters our field when we're making the plans and we talk to somebody and they really need help. Okay, you're the one. This year, this is what it's going to.
I wonder what would you think for the next one then? So post-COVID, or whether it goes away or not, post theme for that.
There's so many right now. I don't know. I have to through it.
Well, hopefully.
Right now.
Yeah, just hopefully we'll be able to do another one and spread that love and allow people to share their light as well. Going back to the beginning of the conversation when we talked about we all have our own gifts, our own essence, and we all bring different things to the world, don't we, in our own way. So and thank you for you two for doing the work that you do and bringing it to so many people as well. So just going back to finding you on your website, and so that was I'll include it all.
We're on Facebook as well for all of them, actually all four. RaMA Holistic Care, Sacred Sense Aromatherapy, The Conscious Groove, and Love Takes Flight Festival. We have Nam Fest is the yoga at Nam Yoga. For a while we called it Nam Fest to help people kind of get an idea. It's like Love Takes Flight. They could kind of conceptualize what was happening. But we're going back to that love again. Just kind of what we were saying in the beginning of, we all learn from so many modalities, but we don't want to attach ourselves to any one of those. We want to remain universal. And I think You know, as humans, we fall into that too. We really love and believe in something, but then we kind of cut ourselves off to people that maybe wouldn't enter through that realm, you know. So I think for us, it's constantly like learning something, and we get a little attached, and then we have to kind of unattach, and but still love it and still embrace it, but keep ourselves open. And I think that's a big part of our path, is to stay universal and to not be just one thing.
Yes, universal, and I guess the that sound is a big part of this, because uni and looking at the universe, one verse sound, one sound, so it's all kind of that music and that sound as well that ties us in all together and brings us joy. So would you be able to take us through a little, I don't know, there's a mantra or a song or a meditation? Is there anything that you feel like you'd like to share with us and our viewers today?
Absolutely. So just rub your hands together. Hands are the extension of the heart. Take a deep breath. Hold the breath and squeeze your rectum and just rub your hands. Your hands will get nice and warm. Good. And then exhale and just bring all that to your heart. And just close your eyes. And just connect with your eyes closed, feeling the sun above you, the symbol of light in the physical world. Reach your crown, top of your head, towards that sun. And feeling the power of the earth, mother, the divine goddess underneath you. Feel your sit bones rooting in like a tree. And just imagine your heart expanding in the center. Just feel this sense of gratitude. Think of something you're grateful for. There's always something to be grateful for. We can be in that state of gratitude when we're going through challenges. It really, really helps and reminds us that our challenges are so temporary. And as you merge with your heart, just exhale the breath. Bring the sun now in front of your heart. Take a deep breath of light into your heart. Hold the breath. The heart is the center chakra. It's the center candle in our spiritual menorah. And exhale and imagine you're sending white light out the crown of your head and showering your whole body with that light. One more time, or two more times. Inhale sunlight into your heart. Hold the breath. We'd like to open our energy from the heart center to help balance all the other energies up and down. And then exhale light through the crown of the head into the space. One more time. Inhale sunlight into your heart. Hold the breath, smile, just feeling that love. And then exhale, crown. I'm going to use the words I am, the two most important things that we say, and then everything after that defines our reality. So we're going to chant I am, I am, I am, I am that I am. You'll get it. We'll do a couple rounds. And just stay with your eyes closed and your hands on your heart. I'm going to just mic up a little bit here. All right, take a deep breath and always smile. Tighten the pelvic floor, squeezing the rectum, the sex organs. Draw the navel in and up. Just seal that light in your heart, in your cells, reminding you are one with the Creator. The Creator is love, wisdom, and truth. Open your arms, reach up, inhale a little bit more, look up, smile, and bust out laughing.
Yay! Beautiful, brilliant.
And then I was going to take you through the prayer of love, peace, and light if you'd like to.
Yeah, that'd be lovely. Oh, that was lovely. Thank you.
So rub your hands together again, and then we're going to come. We'll start with prayer pose at the heart, and then we'll do the love, peace, and light for ourselves, and then we're going to do love and light for the earth. And that kind of gives you an idea. If you do want to pray for somebody else, instead of saying the earth, you'll say their name. And if you're fighting with someone, even if you're having an important conversation with somebody, you can clear any whatever.
The most harmony for the
between the two of you to create harmony and create that space. So come in a prayer pose. Why don't you lead that?
Okay, sure.
I've been talking a lot.
All right. Good. Hands in prayer pose, beautiful, and just focusing on that light, true light of love, peace. Good. And exhale completely, and then take a deep breath, and please repeat after me. Love before me.
Love before me.
Love behind me.
Love behind me.
Love at my left.
Love at my left.
Love at my right.
Love at my right.
Love above me.
Love above me.
Love below me.
Love below me.
Love in me.
Love in me.
Love in my surroundings.
Love in my surroundings.
Love to all.
Love to all.
Love to the universe.
Love to the universe.
Another deep breath. Peace before me.
Peace before me.
Peace behind me.
Peace behind me.
Peace at my left.
Peace at my left.
Peace at my right.
Peace at my right.
Peace above me.
Peace above me.
Peace below me.
Peace below me.
Peace in me.
Peace in me.
Peace in my surroundings.
Peace in my surroundings.
Peace to all.
Peace to all.
Peace to the universe.
Peace to the universe.
Another deep breath. Light before me.
Light before me.
Light behind me.
Light behind me.
Light at my left.
Light at my left.
Light at my right.
Light at my right.
Light above me.
Light above me.
Light below me.
Light below me.
Light in me.
Light in me.
Light in my surroundings.
Light in my surroundings.
Light to all.
Light to all.
Light to the universe.
Light to the universe.
Good. Then bring the palms facing one another. We call this middle pillar, that place of balance. So in between your hands, visualize the sunlight, beautiful sun, healing energy, giving energy, and then place the earth within that sunlight, that healing space. We'll do the prayer of love and light for the earth. Take a deep breath here. Love before the earth.
Love before the earth.
Love behind the earth.
Love behind the earth.
Love at the earth's left.
Love at the earth's left.
Love at the earth's right.
Love at the earth's right.
Love above the earth.
Love above the earth.
Love below the earth.
Love below the earth.
Love in the earth.
Love in the earth.
Take another breath. Light before the earth.
Light before the earth.
Light behind the earth.
Light behind the earth.
Light at the earth's left.
Light at the earth's left.
Light at the earth's right.
Light at the earth's right.
Light above the earth.
Light above the earth.
Light below the earth.
Light below the earth.
Light in the earth.
Light in the earth.
Bring the hands in prayer pose. The heart center. This brings balance of those two hemispheres we were talking about earlier. We'll tune out with an Om. Take a deep breath.
God bless you. God bless you. God bless you.
Thank
Love you. We're so grateful for you. And
Oh,
everything you
Satnam, thank you so much. They were so beautiful. That prayer and also the I am. I am so grateful. Thank you.
Yeah, that
And
album, that's on Spotify, I think.
Yeah.
is it?
Or if people can go, you can go just to The Conscious Groove and listen to all the songs or buy them there if you want, whatever. But you have them there to listen if you just want to
They are for sale if
Yeah,
you'd like
they're
to
sale.
support us.
Of course,
but we
but,
have
you
them
know,
for free
if you
for
wanna
those
try
that
'em out.
can't. So
Oh,
for
I shall,
everybody.
yeah, look on Spotify and find you guys and put you on my playlist, and I'll put this all down and on the YouTube link and also the social media links, all your links on there as well. Do you have any other last words of wisdom that you'd like to share with viewers and listeners?
I think the biggest thing is we need to stop judging ourselves, each other. We need to stop separating, stop the tribalism of I do this and I belong to this group. Or I just think that we need to go back to that idea that everybody is beautiful and everybody has something to teach us and everybody is a master. Everybody is the light. You know, we're all these amazing trees and we have so much to share when we can get past our own stuff. And I think, you know, whether it's you're judging yourself or blaming, shaming yourself, or anybody or anything in outside of yourself. I think just we're in this time that, and I think that's why COVID is hitting, is to bring us back to that compassion and to slow us down and say, hey, you know, what's really important in life? You know, it's like you were saying in the beginning, is it running around and chasing something? No, and think of a flower. It just sits there, a tree sitting there, and who did the masters go to? Who did Buddha sit next to become enlightened? You know, it's the one that isn't moving, that is still and is just expressing love. It's serving. You know, it's there to give shade, to provide nutrients, to give medicine, to give food. Like we are that. We're here to provide love, and it can be the shade for somebody who's in a storm. You know, we're here to use these hands to serve each other, and we have two, meaning ourselves and others. You know, we live in a dualistic world because it's not just about us, it's about how we can all work together and fit into this piece of this puzzle together. And I think my heart sings when I see people, you know, from different cultures, different belief systems coming together, working together. I think that's the key. And just let go of what you think it should be, you know, and just be open to everything that is. Because life is magic when we can just be present with that and just love.
I echo everything Lemia says, and I'll add a little bit of what John Muir, the famous old naturalist, he says. I went into the woods to find myself, or I got lost in the woods only to find myself. Right. So it's connect with nature. I guess is the biggest thing that I like to end with here is just connect with nature, because we are nature, and however that looks like in your environment. If you can't go out to nature. That's why we use the plant medicine, the plant teachers, because we can bring them indoors. But really, the best way is to be out barefoot in the ground, next to a tree, in nature, on the dirt, the sand, whatever you can get that's natural. So honor your nature, honor your natural state, honor your divine state, honor everything that is, and just be kind.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Lemia and Josh. It's been so fabulous having you on Light Conversations. So thank you for being such fabulous, beautiful guests.
Thank you
Thank
for this
you for
opportunity.
everything you do.